Gentlemen, how are we all doing tonight? My name is ILT Indigo or Jamie Morris, and we are at the Hungarian Grand Prix this time. A beautiful place in Budapest, and this circuit just outside the city as well. First introduced in 1986, and displayed some great racing slash boring races because it's not one of those places you can overtake, but there's some good races still around here. And today is Dan.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Not too bad, mate. How you doing?
I'm really well, mate. Really well indeed. Yeah, like you said, a difficult track to overtake, and it's wet. It's a wet qualifying. Yes, brilliant. So not only is it hard to overtake, but we get a wet qualifying as well. So he's going to be really good, mate. I'm really intrigued to see what they can do around here. It's a tricky track for strategies. Very much leaning on the two-stop. The one-stop is very difficult to make work. You have to have zero safety cars, zero incidents. Don't get held up by anyone. So yeah, I imagine if it's a dry race, we're going to see most of the field doing a two-stop. I think there's only one or two drivers that can probably do a one-stop on outright pace. So yeah, going to be super interested to see what everyone can do tonight.
Yeah, judging from experience as well, and in other divisions, driving here myself a few weeks ago, the normal strategy is a one-stop halt to mediums or mediums to hards, but with this, the chance of a safety car coming out around here is high because of the difficulty around here. It's easy to spin out and hit the wall, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. If it is a dry race, of course, because if it's a wet race, they don't have to use both tyre compounds if it is dry in the end. But here we are in a wet qualifier session, and the track's already difficult enough in the dry, especially with track limits, but this one is going to be another challenge on itself.
It is, mate. It is. And the other thing as well is the tyre life, basically the tyre grip on fresh rubber is stupidly OP. If you're on hards from the start, as soon as someone pits, they're going to be like 26, 27 seconds behind. But you can make up about 1.2 seconds a lap on fresh rubber. It's ridiculous. So that's why I think we'll see the two-stop round here if it's dry.
And Rogue Smithy has spun on his outlap coming out of turn number 6, so it is a common place to drop it at the exit because you have to get the throttle immediately as soon as you exit the corner. So unfortunately his outlap has dropped it, but luckily hasn't hit the wall, and that is an easy place in the wet or the dry to drop it as well because you're coming at high speed and also with overheated tyres as well around the lap, so you can be very careful indeed. So we're going to go on board with somebody else there because he was the first man out on the circuit, and I believe the next man on the
Oliver, I think,
circuit
mate.
is Oliver, SFR Oliver then. So I think he had a lonely race back at the British GP if I remember. I think he finished inside the top 10, of course. I remember in Canada he was fighting with Laser throughout the entirety of it, but here we are at the final corner then. Let's see how Oliver progresses on his first flying lap. And you want to do more and more laps on this into. You don't want to do the one and then go back into pit lane and do the next one. You want to keep going.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, as well, because you're not always on the throttle as much. Your ERS, you can probably get 2 hot laps out of the ERS. So I imagine these guys are fueled with about 5 laps of fuel, maybe 4.7. So they'll probably get 2 or 3 fast laps out of this, I believe.
Yeah, that should be the case because the track will rubber in as well. The inters will get much better as you circulate. Not only the inters get better, but you get better as well because you know how much you can push the track there. Oliver, a little snap there coming out of turn number 3. And as we head into turn number 4, then you want to avoid the track limits on the exit as he negotiates that really well. Headed into 5, then another difficult corner. We're seeing Rogue Smithy. You can see him short shifting to reduce that wheel spin on the exit as we head into the turn 6 and 7 complex. Here we are into these two corners, in and out quickly. Very easy to lose it through there, and here we are in this twisty middle sector. It's very fast corners, but not in the inters. You don't want to get on the curbs too much here because it'll off balance the car. But you can see that Oliver makes his way through turn 11, another difficult corner. We saw Sergio Perez back in 2014 hit the wall and crashed out, and also in 2013, the year before, he crashed out there in qualified 2 out of the exit of it. But Oliver slipping and sliding, turn 12, then is retired at turn 4 or 3, I think.
Yeah, Wesker's just invalidated. He was behind Oliver as well, so he's not having a good one. Oliver set the benchmark. What does he do? Could be a lot slower than the drive. 130s maybe. Not quite.
On the verge of it, I think. Here he comes across the line. It's going to be a 29-0.
Fair play, fair play.
Who else is the next one to cross the line? We've got a Williams. Was that? I think he's just.
Samad's about to cross as well now, mate, in the Alpine.
And Rogue Smithy goes first then, so that's a second quicker already. Then Oliver, despite that first lap being his in lap, spinning out. Sam has just gone to P3 with a 29.3 there in the Alpine, as Overwatch has gone quickest overall is a 27.8 as Ramovaj. I think Ramovaj, he had the Hungarian flag on his name, so I think he's from Hungary himself. So for years, doing it favours here at his home Grand Prix.
Laser about to cross the line, see what he can do. Good enough for fourth with a 128.151.
And Laser there, first in the championship, and his race by race, MDJ is eating into his lead. We've got plenty of races left to go, I think 11 more races. MDJ slots that Mercedes into P3, only about 600 or 500 behind Overwatch in P2. So that's mighty close times. And Harry Kane there, the man who finished in P2 at the British GP, also in a good run as well, but I don't think he's on a flying lap. Oh yeah, 6th. He looks like he's just turned his EOS off because it says 100% for me, so I'm quite sure.
He might be doing the installation lap, mate, and getting the tyres warm.
That is the case as well, so we'll see if that double outlap works there for Harry Kane. Chevy Oil Glass there, let's see what he does. A 31.0 in that first sector as the Haas there comes out of turn number 4 as we head into turn 5 then. So Ramovaj there with a 27.6. I don't know how much work practice they've done so far, but looking mighty quick up there in P1 with Overwatch in P2. Jerry Oil Glass, Rogue Smithy once again takes it away with a 27.4 then, so found a lot of time. It's a 28.0 for him, as he was a second quicker than Oliver, but found a more time on his next lap.
Overwatch goes quicker now. Wow. Oh, then Ramajaj falling these times.
Mate, it's incredible to see how much confidence they have on their second lap.
Yeah, it massively improves. As Hazara's about to cross the line, see what he can do. 127.8, so he goes up to P4.
I love these wet qualifier sessions because it's not like the dry where you see here comes Glock around the final corner. Let's see what he can do. It's P3 on his first lap at 27.2 as Glock returns for tonight. A Haas behind him is about to cross the line, and that was Jerry Oreoglass there into P14. I did see him struggle on his lap headed into turn 6 and 7, so hopefully he can find more time. It's his first lap, I think, 2 on the board. But what was I about to say? I think was I talking about Glock or something else? I can't remember.
Yeah, you were about to say something about Glock, yeah.
Yeah, Glock came around the final corner and I said something about him, but Harry Kane into P5. My memory's gone so far, so I can't actually remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I like his wet conditions because I like to see every single driver go round and round more than one or fewer laps, and it's incredible to see the improvements on the first and second lap. What have you seen?
Yeah. So Oreoglass on his in lap, or it might be a hot lap. He just went really wide. I think it's at turn 7, over the hill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it is. Yeah, turn 6. He went really wide and just. He's not invalidated, but he's definitely lost a bit of time there.
It's important to keep going because his benchmark is a 30.9 for Oreoglass there, so he wants to find his true reference points. You can see yellow flags on the circuit, but that's just drivers slowing down and halting to a slow pace to allow others through to make sure they don't get in the way. Here he comes in the middle sector, so it's 3/10 up, but let's hope he can find more time in this last sector.
Second up, about to cross the line, mate.
Here he is. It's P2 with a 27.0 for Hazara. Hazara was running a low downforce setup at the British GP, hence why he was sliding all over the show. But let's hope he's got the right setup on here tonight as we make our way into the final corner for Oreoglass in the Haas. And let's see there what lap time he can set. It was a 30.9. Can he improve? Yeah, no, he can't. It's a 31.1 unfortunately for him.
Harry Kane's about to go faster, half a second. He'd probably go into P3 maybe. Let's see what he can do.
You're right. P3. It is a P3, you're right indeed. We've got a Red Bull coming across the line now. I don't know who that was. It was Glock because his teammates retired, so here he is. Glock, maybe going for another lap time in that Red Bull then. So last time Glock was on track, I think, was at the Austrian Grand Prix where he was hunted down by MDJ at the last lap and got overtaken. So here he is tonight. Let's see what he could do in the Red Bull there. You can see him in the wet conditions. He still takes a lot of curb on entry to turn number 2 to just maximise the entry there and get out of it quicker. But I'm surprised he can still do that in the wet. A little twitch cut out of turn number 3. But we saw, well, we didn't see, but Zedden crashed out of turn 3. 1 turn down his Glock, so I don't know what cost him there.
Yeah, everyone's done 3 laps so far, or most people have. Wesker's done 4, but yeah, like we said at the start of this qualifying, we are going to see this because the tyres just come alive after a couple of laps. So I do imagine by the end of this session, we might even knock another 4/10 off these fast times.
The tyres don't overheat as much as the soft compound tyres as they continue to circulate around the track because obviously the softs are more valuable, got less surface area. Lays across the line up into P7, he's 1/10 ahead of MDJ, who's 3/10 up in the middle sector alone. That's his championship rival, but I don't think it's enough to cause problems for Ramovaj and Hazara as it was only 3/10 in the middle sector. And Avatari in turn 2 has gone off the track and hopefully he can get back on there without any incidents. I think it's Rogue Smithy. Here comes MDJ and he found more time. It's P7 with a 27.2. 3/10 away and he's only P7. That's incredible.
It looks like Harry Kane's going for another lap now, so he must have put quite a bit of fuel in here because Yeah, he's just started another flying lap now.
BTL Hurricane then in that McLaren as he heads
Oh,
down.
Smithy's round again. Sorry, mate. Smithy's spun again, and it is, where is he? Turn 3, or turn 2.
That's where Lewis Hamilton spun back in 2014 in the wet conditions. I think it was a wet start that turned into a dry race, with Ricciardo getting his second win in his Formula 1 career. Then we saw Marcus Ericsson crash out there at turn number 3 too. So Rogue Smithy, he is spinning around, but still got some good pace in that other tyre, because I saw this outlap, and now this time he's spun, but hopefully he can keep the car intact because he's got some mighty pace, maybe just pushing in a bit too much on the edge, or properly on the edge there for Rogue Smithy.
I think it might be a setup thing, you know. I think he's setting it up for the race on a slightly lower downforce. He's probably gone for like a 46 wings front or back. And I just think that might be tripping up in the wet conditions. I'm assuming it's a dry race. We don't know. But it's uncharacteristic of Smithy to spin like this in qualifying so much, as he nearly goes round again. So yeah, I imagine it's a setup issue, this.
Let's see if he can adjust his setup in the pit lane. He only can change it from wing due to part firme as well. So Rogue Smithy got to keep at the barriers then and head his way back into pit lane, because he's got pace. He's only about 3/10 away, but obviously 3/10 is a huge gap in Formula 1 turns. It's never small around here. Every single 10 matters in Formula 1. So what's Harry Kane doing? He's coming around in the pit lane then. So he's probably changing over to a brand new set of inters, as we've got MDJ still out there, 1.2 seconds down, so he's not on a lap time yet. Samid, a few hundreds down in the first set. He goes off the track.
Do you know what else it could be, actually, as well, just going back to Smithy? It might be that he's forgot to reduce his tyre pressures.
That is a major one, tyre pressures. I remember how painful that is. I know it could be. You could have a perfect setup, but not change the tyre temperatures. And a track like this, where it's demanding on the front tyres as you continue turning left and right around here, it's like Monaco without the wars, and it really destroys your tyres, the front tyres as well. So that could be another issue.
Well, I'm just on board with Samed as well. It looks like he's struggling a little bit. Do you think it could be getting wetter, and it could actually be crossing over into wets now? Because there's quite a few drivers here that are struggling, and I won't imagine the tyre wear making that much of an issue, but JDM's just starting a lap now, so let's jump on board with him and let's see what he's doing and what these conditions are like, because there's a few uncharacteristic traction loss moments coming from these drivers now.
Turn 1 is a heavy traction zone. What were you going to say, sorry?
It doesn't look that wet though. That's what's and there's a sort of like a line appearing. So yeah, it's a strange one.
I think it's I think it's going to stay like this for the remaining of the session. It does look like on the wet tyres, but not just yet. Let's see what JDM does in the first sector, as we've got multiple people on their outlaps. JDM 2/10 already in the first sector, so good improvement for him, but he's in the 28, so he needs to find a bit more time in this middle and last sector to make those improvements, as he's currently a P11 outside the top 10, as I think he's on a brand new set of inter. Yes, he is on this graphic, so you can see people coming out on a brand new set of inters, then using their second selected set. As we make our way into this middle sector we go, and very difficult because it punishes the front tyres a lot there. You might see in the race people sliding around with those tyres getting hotter and hotter. Turn 11 is quite a painful one as well. It's flat out probably. I think it's a slight lift off in the drive, but you got to lift off a lot in the race. Yeah, 3/10 up for JDM, but it's not enough though, because he needs to find a bit more time to get inside the 27s alone, never mind beating other people's lap time. So his target is trying to get in the 27s if he can, as he has a decent exit at 14 then, as we head into the final corner for JDM. Can he get himself inside that top 10? And let's have a look what he can do. Gets a decent exit too. Powers to the line. It's a 27.1. 28.1, sorry.
Wow. Move up though.
His teammate Rogue Smith is still in the pit lane. Glock is out there, and it says he's 1/10 up. Here he is then towards the line. What can Glock do in that Red Bull? It's a 26.9. Very close.
39,000. Wow.
Oh, that's just incredible how close it could get between all these drivers. Overwatch is out there. He's currently headed down into turn 1. But Ramovaj still maintains pole position. He was up there at the British GP, but I think he started on the... Oh, a big slide to come out of turn 1 there for Overwatch.
Hazara, by the way. Very close.
Let's have a look at Hazara.
It was half a temp slower. He missed it on the last corner.
Well, 3 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in this qualified session, and it's getting all tense now with all the drivers trying to improve. Ramovaj is still in the pit lane. Glock is out there 9/10 down, so he's not going for a lot of time just yet. Harry Kane in the first set, I didn't quite see because I was a bit too late heading into the first sector. Oh, 2/10. So let's see if Harry Kane... This will put him on pole if he can continue that, in 2/10 alone. So we head into turn 6, and turn 7 is very critical to get these right. Slow speed corners as you approach very quickly in there, as we flick through then into this left-hander, right once again, slight lift off, dab on the brakes, just experimenting with the throttle there, and now he's on full throttle. Flat out through there, but it's turn 11, braking as well, nice and... Oh, goes off wide, and that's not a validation, 2/10 up. What's your rule about that, by the way? If you see somebody going off the track and they continue without a validation?
No, that's fine. We'll leave it for the game to do, because the game is very good at calculating the actual time gained and lost. So there's an algorithm where it's like a mini sector. If you go past that mini sector off track and it's slower than what you did on the track before, then it doesn't give you a penalty. So we'll be all right with that.
Harry Kane, by the way, has made a big mistake at turn 13, so unfortunately his lap time is ruined anyway, so that lap time will not count. But Laser, his teammate, has gone quickest with a 26.7. However, Ramavaj is still in the pit lane. He's been in the pit lane for quite a while now. Hazara's just crossed the line to go to P2. Decent lap time from the Norwegian driver. The has got a pit lane of Jevi Oyoglass in P14. But yeah, Ramavaj is still in the pit lane then, so I wonder why. I can see the Red Bull starts to come out of the pit lane, but there's no activity for Ferrari at all.
Yeah, I think now, literally this very second, they need to be coming out that pit. It's about 35 seconds they need, plus the time it to get around to the line. So you're looking at about 2 minutes. So if people aren't coming out the pits this very second, they're not going to have time.
No, they're not indeed. And Ramavaj will only have one lap as well on a brand new set of Inter. You don't really want to do one lap on a brand new set of Inters, because I think he's coming out now. I just saw Ferrari come out of the pit lane.
I just saw Raj come out now, yeah. Glock just came out a little bit before him as well.
So they've opted to do one lap on a brand new set of Inter rather than going around and trying to get the Inters in the groove then. So let's see if this one lap pays dividends for them, as Oliver is inside the top 10. Sonic Hawk in P16 hasn't set a lap time at all, so I assume he's got a qualifying ban.
No qualifying bans.
Oh, he just want to start last then, as Hazara. Laser goes into P1, extends his margin by 400 as well, ahead of Hazara. Hazara is not on a lap time. Harry Kane overwatches in P2. What about Harry Kane in P6? Harry Kane slowed down, so his next lap will be his last lap, and that will determine where he will be. MDJ's on his out lap. Rogue Smithy's on the out lap. I did see him go for turn 1, but to get out of somebody's way. I think Samid and then Wesker are out there. Wesker's validated. Samid has also validated too. So we've seen a few validations in this last part of qualifying then. Oliver's on a lock time with Martin. Martin's in P9. 3/10 up is in the middle sector is Martin, so he might catapult an order just a little bit as I'm looking at the lap times right now. Martin comes around the final corner. It's going to be P9 still for him. 4/10 is what he found.
Yes, it's still quite tight in that midfield pack. You're looking at 3/10 to be able to get up to the front 3 rows, and just fell a little bit short of that. Just on board with Oliver approaching the final few corners. He was only a 10th up, so it won't be enough to catapult him up the order. It looks like he's going to stay P10 unless he has time for another lap, which I don't think he will have enough battery for that.
Oliver makes his way towards the line. It's going to be a 27.9, and he's behind SFR Martin in P9 then. So Samid is out there. Everybody out there now except Sonic Hawk and Zenon, who's crashed out earlier in their session. So it's a shame for him. He finished in P10 after started P18. I remember did Zenon. Overwatch sliding through the final corner in the Alfa Romeo as he's one side to get qualified. It's come to an end. Overwatch crosses the line now. It's pole 26.94. Overwatch. Lasers in the pit lane. Hazara is a 10th up in the first sector. What can he do? He's 4/10 up in this middle sector. He's found a lot of time. Has Hazara. So can he snatch pole away from Overwatch? He needs a decent exit out of these final few corners now, because it's such difficult traction zones coming out of those slow speed corners. So has to make his way towards the line. That's Oreo Glass, who stays in P14. Hazara is the next man to cross the line as we head through the final corner. Overwatch had a bit of a moment in the final corner. So Hazara makes his way towards the line. It's going to be pole again for 26.3. There's an Aston Martin right behind us. That's Martin. He's popped himself into P7. Harry Kane, what can he do? It's P4 behind his teammate. And AlphaTauri and Rogue Smithy's crossed the line. P4 for him with a 26.7. And a Williams, I think, of Wesker. No, it's not Wesker. Who was that? I'm not quite sure who it was, but he's back in the pit lane anyways.
Yeah, Glock's down on his time. He's a 10th up, but he's down on the pole time.
And MDJ is still circulating on the track as well. Glock comes towards the line. It's P7 unfortunately. But what about MDJ? 3/10 up in his middle sector. Is this going to be enough to save pole? No, it's not, because he's 9/10 away from Hazara, so he needs to find a lot of time in this last sector if he wants to snatch pole away. But he's looking to improve his position then as he makes his way towards the final corner. Decent exit there as he powers towards the line. What can it be? P7, I think it said.
I was gonna say, I couldn't see because it switched straight away. Yeah, P7, you're right, mate. So yeah, that's certainly separated the driver skill out there. It's very much different from the dry sessions we normally see. A few names out of position there. Yeah, certainly a mix-up there, Jamie.
This could be a thriller because the main guys who were there last week are here this week. But Hazara, with a twitchy setup, low downforce setup, let's see what setup he's got tonight at the Hungarian Grand Prix. If I remember correctly from the podium interviews, I believe he said he likes the Hungarian Grand Prix, or that could have been Harry Kane. But Harry Kane's put it down in P6. But obviously it's wet conditions, so you never know if those drivers that are bad qualifying could make amends in the race if it's dry.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Are you looking forward to it?
I am, mate. Yeah, it just depends if it's be a dry race. Normally, I like it to be wet just because it adds a bit of spice to it. But I'm actually hoping it's going to be a dry race just so we can see what happens with strategy and a nice raw pace race, basically.
High chance for safety car as well, so it's been very important to be at the right strategy at the right time. Obviously, you can't control it; it's not a control variable, unfortunately, for those drivers. But yeah, you got to be at the right time, at the right time. It could spoil some people's races. And look at that, bright and sunny as well for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Yeah, I'm thrilled as you. I like a wet qualifying and a dry race. That's how I like it.
I mean, it's good to have a race that's wet now and again, just add a bit of spice and stuff, but. Yeah, you want, especially when it's the fastest tier of a certain league, you want to see these guys flat out racing without having to be separated by wet racing skill, because everyone does vary. Some people can't stand the wet, some people are good in it, and it just adds that mix up. But sometimes you just want that raw pace, elbows out, let's see what you can do type of racing, and hopefully that's what we're going to get tonight.
And in the wet conditions too, it can be very difficult to overtake because you don't get DRS, and also it's very easy to save the battery at any track really in the wet because you're not on the throttle 100% as you would be in the dry. So that also helps you if you're in the lead or if you're in a high position to defend from those behind. I've seen it plenty myself and also experienced myself plenty of times as well. If you're not that quick and you're up there in the rain, you can definitely defend. If you've got the wet pace, of course, it's very difficult.
The thing with the dry as well, I've heard it from a few drivers in the chats as well, that the tyre overheating issue in a few of the drivers from Division 1 is an issue. So hopefully they've sorted the setup so they don't get that. But yeah, it's especially towards the end of a tyre life, we're going to see a few drivers making a few mistakes or definitely undercuts happening tonight, which, sometimes being aggressive with your undercut, a good 2 laps is enough to catapult you up 4 positions. So I'm really intrigued to see what the tyre choices are when they start, because that's a massive one round here. So yeah, do you think there'll be many one-stoppers, Jamie?
If it is what I was going to say, if it is a race that has no safety cars or virtuals, it's going to be a one-stop. But I don't know, because I've not really done much experience around here in Hungary. I did see the one-stop being used, but I think it's different now because the soft compound tyres aren't as bad as they say, but still overheating is a factor. So I think a 2-stop could be in the cars, but let's see how it all unfolds if there is safety cars. Everybody in the chat, welcome. Duran, evening lads, was fun last night. Interested to see this one. Yeah, it is interesting because Hazara, who fell down to P3 after picking up that 3-second time penalty fighting with MDJ. Harry Kane was closing in on MDJ but actually ran out of time and had no EOS in the battery to attack MDJ. So they're further down, Harry Kane and MDJ, but let's see how Hazara does. Overwatch as well, he's doing a great job, so I can't wait to see how he does as I've seen him for the first time.
It's quite a long pause here. It's normally 30 seconds. There we go.
Here we go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And we are underway for round 12 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. No formation lap, of course, so we get going immediately off the line. Sonic Hawk has been dropped by the field. Overwatch is side by side with Hazara. He has the inside preferred line as Hazara tries to keep him on the outside. Interestingly, Overwatch is on the soft compound tyres, so he should be much quicker than Hazara is on the hard compound tyres. 2 steps softer he's opted to go for. Harry Kane and MDJ are squabbling over P6 then as they go wheel to wheel. Into turn number 3 we go, and into 4. Will Harry Kane maintain the inside line, which he does do, but MDJ swoops around the outside and maintains his position as Sonic Hawk did not get a good start whatsoever.
Yeah, Joe, I'm really surprised at how many hard runners there are. And similarly, the soft runners, because the softs, they're not really good on full fuel. They're a great finishing tyre, but they're not brilliant at the start of a GP. But obviously, the outright pace for the first two or three laps especially is going to be better than these hard runners, but they've got a very small window that they need to get these softs firing and get in front of these hard runners. or it's impossible to overtake. So yeah, the next 2 or 3 laps is critical for these soft runners.
And Sonic Hawk at the back of the field has caused a virtual safety car already as he's lost his front wing and gone for a spin. And Overwatch, I'm surprised, like you said, there are soft runners in this race. So I don't know, is it going to be a two-stop strategy for those people in the hards?
I think so. Yeah.
For those people in the hards, it's a one-stop for sure. I'm not quite sure for the soft runners because the softs to be introduced this early in the race, I haven't seen for a little while now, especially in the last game where no soft tyres were used at all. But in this game, it's quite intriguing to see that the soft compound tyres are used. How are they going to perform at this early stage of the race where heavy fuel, like you said, and also the track not rubbering in because we had rain. It's also a brand new lobby as well, or a brand new session. So we'll see how those soft runners get on, and they have to pull a gap immediately over the hard runners. Same with Amavaj in P3. He has to overtake Azara, but easier said than done, of course, around here in Hungary.
Yeah, I mean, I can see quite a few of the hard. I would say 50% of the hard runners will cancel doing the one stop. I might be wrong, but I don't see how they're going to make a one stop work because these soft runners, they're obviously going to do soft, medium, soft, or soft, medium, medium, or even I might eat my words. They might do a soft to hard, but that doesn't make sense. So this is why I like Hungary so much because you just don't know what you're going to get with strategy.
Yeah, indeed as well. 3 tyre compounds being used in this race already. A Sonic Hawk is in the pit lane. Did not take part in qualifying and also had a terrible start. Well, I say terrible start. He didn't get off the ladder at all. Maybe he wasn't paying attention. I thought it was the formation lap. But anyways, in P16 years and hopefully he could come back through the field. Still in this race, by the way. So he'll be hoping for a safety car to be appearing on the track as he's used one set of mediums already as he started on the soft compound tyres. So his middle stint already is on the softs, medium, sorry. So Overwatch has set the fastest lap as you expect on those softs. Ramavaj is clawing on the back of Hazara, not really making the moves I was thinking he was going to be on those soft compound tyres. DRS is enabled then, so he can try and force himself to make a lunge as he gets closer with DRS. Hurricane there on the back of MDJ, who's also on the back of his championship rival of Laser. So MDJ is the McLaren sandwich, and those two are his championship rivals too for good measure. So both championship rivals ahead and behind him.
Yeah, I've just been looking down the field as well, Jamie. The ERS is getting used massively by a certain amount of drivers. I do suspect those drivers are going to start lagging back soon. I'm very much strict usage on the ERS around this track. It's pretty much entirely always on the home finish straight because you need to make it last and you need to use it for defence. And there's quite a few drivers that are pretty low already. Some guys are doing really well with their ERS management, but yeah, quite a few already depleted around the field.
Yeah, that battery is very crucial to save indeed because it helps you regenerate. If you stay in this DRS train, it helps you regenerate it, and you don't want to use it in weird places in the corners you don't really need to use it, because if you do that then you'll lose a lot of it. But yeah, you got to be really smart with ERS usage. Once you make up your positions on lap 1 and settle down somewhere, that's when you have to conserve ERS and use it later on in the race whilst you're attacking as well. So it's all the first strategy is just tactical play, follow each other the DRS trade. But on lap 4 out of 35, those soft compound tyres should be fading away in about 3 or 4 laps time. So I'm not surprised, I won't be surprised if I see the soft runners start fading away. So we'll see how they can do while this stage of the race. But yeah, that's very interesting that the softs are on. I thought mediums or hards would be the first opening stint of any race, but the softs have been introduced. A brand new set of softs, of course, because no dry running was in play.
Well, the other thing as well to mention around here is obviously sectors 1 and 2, it's not brilliant for overtaking. So if you're on the softs with someone behind you, you can actually just take it a little bit easier coming through these twisty sections and then use them to accelerate coming through sectors 3 and onto the home finish straight. So if the drivers are being smart, they might just be taking it easy on those soft tyres and just making them last a little bit longer than what you can. I mean, 10 laps is what you'd normally be looking at pitting on these, but you can make these go to 12, which I've done myself in practice. So yeah, I'll be intrigued to see what these guys can do. I mean, 12 laps you could very much go into hards then and do the one stop, but like I said before, soft to hard one stop doesn't really make sense.
You lose a lot of time if you do that as well, and also with the guys going on fresh tyres towards the end, they extended their stint on the mediums or hards. But Zenon there, who's the man who crashed in qualifying, started at P15, is in P12 at the moment, just trying to hunt down Oliver. But he had a bit of a moment coming out of 13, which has allowed Salmon to be all over the back of him as we head on the straight once again with DRS open. And it looks like they're not close enough to make a lunge, but Laser has been overtaken by MDJ.
Going back at him though, going back, Laser's got the outside line into this tight corner.
But you can see you can see that MDJ has used a lot of ERS as the car flashes. But I'm surprised he's used that ERS.
Me too, mate. Me too, because he's now going to be vulnerable on the next lap.
He's going to be vulnerable altogether because it's very hard to save EOS in the drag conditions anywhere on the circuit, unless you've got a low downforce setup, of course, because you don't carry a lot of drag, using a lot of battery in the straights. But MDJ then drained a lot of his battery, as you can see there, in that Mercedes, so it's going to be vulnerable towards the end. He did this at the British GP, but he was in different scenarios because obviously Hazara pulled away that 1 second gap, while I think MDJ and Harry Kane were fighting it out in the first few corners of that race, and Hazara had a credible pace to pull that 1 second gap and maintain it despite MDJ using that EOS.
Speaking of gaps, Jamie, 2.5 seconds for Overwatch on those soft tyres, so he's certainly making the soft tyres fire up.
He has to on those soft compound tyres. There's no point holding back on those softs. You have to absolutely gun it if you're the soft compound tyres. There's no such thing as saving soft compound tyres because you can't do, because the most obviously the softest tyre could overheat easily too on those softs. So once it overheats, you can't cool them down. You can see there Harry Kane defending from the Red Bull of Glock right behind him. These four, when these four get in a battle, MDJ, Laser, Harry Kane and Glock, and also Hazara and Ramovaj, it gets very interesting because we saw at the Spanish Grand Prix, Austrian, British GP as well, they're all very good drivers, and when they fight it's always close and tense.
Yeah, I'm just looking as well in the midfield, there's quite a long train forming now. You've got JDM all the way down to MDJ really. You know, the good 5 drivers all nose to tail. So it might be a battle of the wits, but I've just noticed again MDJ, he's probably been a little bit too happy on deployment because he's down on it, but Laser is looking very fired up on these hard tyres, so don't discount Laser from the win here because he could very much be coming back at these guys once he gets on them fresh mediums in about 14 laps time.
Yeah, indeed. Hazara is the highest hard runner. He's currently in P2, not being pressured by Ramovaj, and I think he's slowly. Oh, you can see the Harry Kane, a little twitch coming out of turn number 12. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. I was on board with Glock.
Yeah, Harry Kane a bit of a moment coming out of turn number 12, and he's still in that DRS trade. But luckily for Laser, he could use MDJ as the DRS now because he knows he's quite low, and Laser can use a lot of well, Laser's got that EOS at his disposal, so he doesn't have to worry about MDJ pulling away, because if he does, Laser could use that battery to just claw his way back in. He's all over the back of MDJ once again as they'll make a way down into turn number 2, but MDJ holds the racing line for the time being and keeps that McLaren at bay, so he's definitely being under huge pressure. And MDJ is just trying to save a bit more EOS in that battery, but he can't quite do it because it's so close. He's not in DRS range of Rogue Smithy yet. By the way, Rogue Smithy doing a great job in P4 on those medium compound tyres, so it's crucial for him too to be ahead of those hard runners behind him. But he's got to make sure those hard runners don't get his DRS anytime soon, as he wants to try and do the overcut on them once he goes on the hard compound tyres before they switch over to the mediums. And he's gone for the alternate strategy from mediums to hards, and let's see how that pays dividends for him. He's putting pressure on Ramovaj, as you expect, because Ramovaj and Overwatch are on the soft compound tyres, and Hazara and Rogue Smithy are starting to make inroads on him, because I think he had a 2.5 second gap on Hazara, now it's 1.5, yeah. So he's being hunted down.
Yeah, so there's definitely the crossover now between the medium and the softs. And just going back to MDJ, he's definitely the cork in this bottle. And I imagine it'll be at some point on this lap, he's going to start struggling as well. But yeah, once MDJ gets out of this picture, the 2 McLarens are going to fly on because they're catching back up now. And again, the same place, nose to tail at turn 1. So he's doing something right, but I imagine with him being the cork in this bottle, it's going to add pressure to him and he's going to be feeling it. So this could pressurise him into a stick. And we've got someone retired, Wesker's retired in the pits.
Oh, it's a shame for Wesker there. Needed a good result, did the Williams driver, but he's out of the Grand Prix now. We did see Harry Kane and Laser go side by side momentarily out of turn 1, but they remain in formation for the time being. And also, if Ramovaj can hold Rogue Smithy up, and that could bring MDJ and the rest of those hard runners in contention. So I think Rogue Smithy has to make a move immediately, because MDJ will be catching Ramovaj 2 on those older soft compound tyres. So it's very important for Rogue Smithy to make this overtake. He's in DRS range now, and you can see Ramovaj is starting to close away, or actually drop away from Hazara. 3.2 is the gap between those two. So I think Rogue Smithy needs to get a move on now before he gets hunted down, as MDJ is only 1.3 seconds behind the AlphaTauri driver.
Yeah, I think you've probably only got one more lap, and I imagine Ramovaj will be coming in, because obviously Smithy's catching him, and then you're not going to be able to overtake him again with dwindling softs. So Yeah, I imagine Ramavad will call it quits in a minute and cut his losses to come in and put some fresh rubber on. And I think that'd be smart if he did. Get some fresh rubber on and try and make some time up on those faster, grippier mediums, or even another set of softs, whichever he wants to do. Smithy just going a little bit on the inside just to try and tweak him into a mistake. He's going all over the back of his gearbox now, adding some serious pressure to Ramavad.
Zeno is in the pit lane too on a brand new set of hards. He started on the soft compound tyres, explaining why he's opted to come in very early in this stage of the race. But like you said, I think these softs now are starting to reach the end of their peak performance, so expect them to drop off dramatically if they don't go in the pit lane at the end of this lap. You can see Hazara now is in DRS range as Overwatch is being hounded by the Norwegian driver right behind him, and the gap and the hard runner pack of 5th to 8th place is starting to close in on Rogue Smithy too. So Rogue Smithy has to make this move immediately to get past Ramavad. Maybe if Ramavad comes in at the end of this pit lane, so Rogue Smithy can be relieved, but we'll see if the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo decides to come in at the end of this lap, because the Overwatch is coming towards... No, he doesn't pit it.
No, he's not pitted again. Right, okay. So Smithy needs to get it done now. He needs a really good exit. Fire it up. See, I find my ERS a lot sooner than he has done. I do it on the corner to get a good drive out, but this should be an easy overtake now. He's got DRS and full deployment of his battery. And that's the overtake done. He needed to get that done there as well.
That was a critical move to get that move done immediately before MDJ and co will start to close up. So MDJ is in DRS range, but with Ramavaj's old soft compound tyres deteriorating, he could potentially hold MDJ up and try and Rogue Smithy could try and use that to his advantage and pull away. Here comes Samid versus Martin. By the way, Samid's made up some great places. He's overtaken Oliver, he's overtaken Martin now, he's also overtaken who was it? I think it was Zenem earlier on. So Samid's making some moves up as well. Not really a great race for him so far. Started down in P11. He did drop back a few places before that too, the opening Grand Prix, and not really a place you're used to seeing Samid, because Austria and Brittany was up there, but this time around looks like he's struggling around every track. Obviously every track is different, so it won't be in his favour if he likes it or not, but let's hope for the next race at Belgium, I believe it is, he can come back stronger if he doesn't have a good race here tonight.
Glock's making up some good time on these hards as well, so there's some drivers on this field that are making these hard tyres work. So fair play to those guys that are making them work. I tried on the hard and I wasn't getting on with them round here. These guys obviously not the same calibre as I am.
As we round off then, lap 11, Hazara's close on the back of Overwatch. These soft runners, by the way, I thought they'd be dropping down dramatically, but still maintaining their ground despite losing one place. But Ramavad is still in the DRS train of Rogue Smithy then, so he won't be hounded by MDJ, but I'm surprised these soft runners are still going. So I always underestimate the soft compound tyres, because I'm not a fan of them whatsoever, only in qualifying, as we all are, but in the race I think they're just a terrible tyre in general. But these guys just making it last, whether they're just well, in qualifying, in the setups as well, they could just make them last, or their own driving can make them last very smooth as well on those soft compound tyres, not use them all at once.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a driver specific skill is whether they make these soft tyres last or not. And I agree with what you said, they're not great on this game in terms of how they are on heavy fuel. I think they're a difficult tyre to actually get working, and to keep them in that working window. If you make a few mistakes, they do overheat. I'm just looking at the Overwatch now, and it looks like he's getting pressure from Hazara, but I don't think he's going to go another lap. Surely you're not going to go another lap. You can, I think 12 is the maximum, really. Yeah, he's going to do one more lap on these.
Incredible, the amount of tyre life, well, the amount of times he saved that soft compound tyre. But Hazara is all over the back of him then as he goes defensive, but I don't think this will work out for him.
Yeah, he's got to keep the inside line. That's all he can do, really.
Yeah, but he's trying to push him into turn 1, but might do a switch back with better traction. No, Hazara actually stays behind, even though he's on the hard compound tyres. Now, is this his chance to make a lunge? Goes around the outside, later braking, trying to go wheel to wheel, but still, he can't do it. Now has the inside line into turn 3, and he's done it finally. Overwatch, what a great defensive fight he's put up.
Yeah, I thought that'd have brought Rogue Smithy a bit closer with them fighting, but no, it's not really changed the gap there. Still hovering around the 4.2, 4.3 seconds. And he's got Ramavad still with him, but dropping a little bit further back. It's just creeping towards that out of DRS range. If you get another good section now, Smithy can break DRS, but at the minute, he's not safe.
No, he's not. I just saw Samud and JDM have an exact replica of what Overwatch and Azara did, and JDM's up into P9 or defending from Samud. So those two had a clean fight out of turn number 2, and there they are then in the Alpha Tower. I expected JDM's tyres started to wear off, hence why Samud is all over the back of him in that Alpine. And let's see if he pits. Yes, he does then. So Overwatch is finally in the pit lane, and what a great job he's done of saving those soft compound tyres. Ramovage doesn't pit. There's no way he's doing soft to medium, is he? They can't do it, surely not.
The game reckons you can do it, but I think no way you get soft medium to work on this track. No way.
And Overwatch is on the medium compound tyres then, so I think he might be doing a 2-stop, soft, medium, soft, surely.
Yeah.
He can't make them mediums go towards the end.
Yeah, I can't see that happening, mate. No.
I thought to be soft to hards, but I think an imminent 2-stop is on the way for Overwatch there in the Alpha and Mayo, so he's got the medium compound tyres to be rapid once again on those mediums. And let's see, Ramovage continuously staying out there. He's still in this DRS train behind Rogue Smithy, so I thought he'd be dropped by Rogue Smithy, but still in that DRS train. But you can see he's being crawled and hounded all over the back there by MDJ, so despite being this DRS train, in these slow speed corners where MDJ has the grip over the Ferrari, he's just pounding once again. It's not doing any favours for Ramovage, but still, he's still keeping that Mercedes right behind the two McLarens and Glock, who's also following. And MDJ's made a mistake, as you can see, Laser there trying to make a move, but MDJ has him covered. So I think out of 10-11, MDJ had a slight wobble on the exit, but he stays in P4 for the time being. Then relieving the pressure from Ramovage. Ramovage surely has to come in the pit lane, but he's not.
Yeah, well, Overwatch just did a sweet overtake Oliver on those fresh mediums. You can see the lap times just falling and falling and falling. He's making these tyres really work for him. And this is the critical point if you're doing a 2-stop. He's absolutely spanking the life out of your fresh tyres, and that's what he's doing. He's already down to 18.7, down from nearly 21 seconds. So, yeah, this is why I was saying about the 2-stop. If it was set a purple sector 3, and I guarantee this next lap's going to be the fastest lap.
If you're doing a straight 2-stop, assuming there's no safety cars, there's no point saving tyres. You've got to be fast every single lap if you're doing a 2-stop.
Yeah, and I think he might even switch to medium because the softs, like we said before, they're not brilliant, but he's so much faster than these hard runners, and if he can make up another 5 positions before the hard runners pit, then that's going to work into his favour. I think this is going to put pressure on the one-stoppers to actually question their own strategy. And again, into the chicane. Oh, he's very close. He might get it on the next corner. And again, Overwatch has another overtake on this fresh rubber. So yeah, this is going to put pressure on the one-stop guys. They're going to be looking in their rearview mirrors at the table, seeing that Overwatch is coming back through on fresh mediums, and it's just eating into the pit stop time already. I mean, he's already within a pit stop window of everyone else. So if everyone else pitted now, he'd still come out in first place.
That's incredible there. I expect Rose Smithy to be very shortly as well on those medium compound tyres. And he's got Ramovage still on those softs, and he's going to be hunted down now. He's going to be dropping like a stone, like Raikkonen was back in 2012. Here comes Laser into turn 1 we go, and that should be an easy move. Harry Kane forces one up the inside as well. Ramovage saw him coming. You can see him sliding on the exit there, fighting for traction with those soft compound tyres. But Harry Kane should have the grip. He brakes later than the Ferrari. The Ferrari there with the corner speed to turn number 2 as Harry Kane went out wide, but still Harry Kane had a decent exit at turn 2 to head into turn 3 on the inside line. Now it's Glock's turn. Glock immediately has to make this pass, but he's in the worst position to do so because those hard runners can pull away from Glock, so he needs to overtake him immediately essentially. But in a place like this, in his middle sector where it's twisty and tight, slow speed corners everywhere, Glock will be much quicker than the Ferrari, but he won't be able to stay overtake because it's so twisty and tight there.
So, just going back to Ramovage, mate, I think with him going nearly 14 laps on these, which is ridiculous, I think he's going to try and make the soft-medium strategy work, you know.
He's got to now. There's no point doing a 2-stop, is there, for him?
Yeah, he's locked in. Unless he wants to do medium and then a soft at the end, I don't know. But, yeah, it's crunch time for Ramovage, I think.
Overwatch has disposed Samud.
I was about to say another one bites the dust for Overwatch. 16.6 seconds from the leader as Ramovage finally pits.
I don't know, because now if this is a clean race, like I mean, in terms of clean, I mean no safety cars, uninterrupted race.
Mediums.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen a 2-stop work in an uninterrupted race, except USA from a few years ago, where I think it was a two-stop in Texas because those soft compound tyres. It was just overheated quite a lot. But here in Hungary, where it's punishing the tyres quite a lot with the front end, I'm not quite sure, you know. So if it is an uninterrupted race here in Hungary without any safety cars, I would love to see if a two-stop. Oh, Laser going off the track at turn number 3 there, turn 4, sorry, as he took too much speed and might have cost himself a warning. He's actually trying to get back in the DRS range of MDJ, so that's why he's pushing so hard in that McLaren. So MDJ's found some pace and actually pulling a second over Laser, which could be quite crucial. But in these low-speed corners, can he catch him up?
Yeah, it's certainly getting tasty between these hard runners. Very close. It went from a mid-pack train, now it's a lead-pack train, so... Yeah, very interesting. This is what I wanted from this race, Jamie. This is exactly what I wanted. Different strategies, different fighting. And we're not going to know who's going to win this race until probably 7 or 8 laps from the end.
I don't know if Hazara's in the best place so far, or if it's Overwatch. I think Hazara, will he do hards to mediums, or could it be hards to softs? We've seen the distance the soft compound tyres could do. Look at Glock. Glock is in this pit lane, so that's an early pit stop on the hard compound tyres. Maybe he wants to get off those hards so he can pull an undercut on the guys ahead. He's on the medium compound tyres. That's a one stop from him from hards to mediums. I think he wants to be out of this train because he's seen that he can't overtake in this train, so he's doing something else.
He's an aggressive... Do you remember an incident in qualifying about the aggressive undercut? That's what he's doing. He's cutting off a bit of the life of the next stint just to try and get some positions on track. I half expected this, Jim, I really did. And I still stand by what I said about the two-stop being slightly stronger than the one-stop. The only thing that's going to separate all these strategies is the raw pace of the drivers. And if they're going for one-stop, they need to make sure they make no mistakes. But, again, I might be wrong on that, but that's what I truly believe about Hungary.
Yeah, Hungary is a very interesting one because usually we don't get to see the strategy plays due to safety cars, but so far there's not been a virtual. I think there has been a virtual, or was it a yellow flag from lap 1? I'm not quite
virtual
sure.
On lap 1, I believe, wasn't it, or lap 2?
Yeah, because I'm not quite sure who went. I think it was Sonic Hawk who caused that virtual. Let's give a time in the pit lane. Sonic Hawk was the one that caused it, hence why he went for an early pit stop. Yeah, because he's filled 50 lap hard medium. So Sonic Hawk, despite that mistake, he's still in this race. He's heading down into turn number 4. I think that's the house of Oreo Glass, but Sonic Hawk in turn 3 exiting that corner now, heading towards the end of the first sector. So he's still in this race, but the gaps are interesting, you know, because Laser is still at the DRS range, and if he doesn't be careful, Harry Kane, his teammate, will be behind and pouncing. You can see that Laser is out of the DRS range. He's got the rear wing open. So Harry Kane, being his championship rival, will not be playing second fiddle to Laser at all. He'll be overtaken if he has the chance. Ramavaj has set the fastest lap on those medium compound tyres. I think Ramavaj is going to the end on those mediums like Glock is, and Ramavaj actually overtaken Oliver for P9 at turn number 1. That's a crucial move. Interestingly, Ramavaj got ahead of Glock, and he's managed to do the undercut work as well on the Red Bull driver. But the Red Bull driver Glock is actually not too far behind, so let's see if one lap difference of tyres can make a huge difference, because you remember Glock was on hards and Ramavaj was on softs. 2 different tyre compound tyres. The softs the most valuable, the most softest out of all of them, easy to burn out, while the hards the most durable tyre. And interestingly, only 1 lap separates those two on different tyres.
Yeah, the one thing I'm learning from Division 1 is that I need to do a bit more practicing on the hard tyre, because it seems like they seem to get him fired up really well and I can get some decent lap times for them, but I always struggle, so I think personally I need to do a bit of running more on the hard tyre to get them working into my strategies.
That was a great race. That was a great move there from Glock, overtaking Oliver before turn 11. MDJ now is in the pit lane as well. This is confusing because the hard runners are pitted before the medium runners as well, so different strategies in play.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, this, because I keep going between Overwatch being strong and weak, because I keep thinking by the time he has to pit again, although he's going to be in the lead, he's going to have used a lot of his tyre life getting there, and he's going to have to pit again, and it could very well drop him behind, but he will be on the fresh tyre, so I'm a bit on the fence now about whether it is going to work or not.
He's gained 8 seconds on Hazara ever since he made his pit stop, but yeah, I'm on the fence too, because like you said, he's going to be very rapid, then his tyres will start to fade. I have to pit again, lose a whole bunch of time again. But we'll see how it all works. I think, in my opinion, hards to mediums is the better strategy, because you can go long on the hards and you can reduce your stint on the mediums and make them more better towards the end of the race as well, especially with the track rubbering and burning out the fuel. The mediums will be the grippiest towards the end, or maybe hards to softs. Let's see if anybody does that, because we've seen that in the British GP, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we will see that, I imagine.
Who was it? Was it Harry Kane who did horse to soft trying to hunt down MDJ? Once again, Glock side by side with Martin. He's overtaken him again. That's the same place he did. Who was it? Was it Zenom? I think it was.
Yeah, Glock and Martin back in position where they started this race.
Oh yeah, they are as well. But Glock was able to keep that DRS trade. Laser has pitted, Salmon has pitted, Salmon's made some good progress on the hards too. So interestingly, Rogue Smithy on those BD compound tyres, 19 lap hold. So Rogue Smithy doesn't look like he was under pressure whatsoever in this race by MDJ, because he managed to keep the gap over him by over a second despite being on the older tyres on the mediums. So he's done a really great job as Rogue Smithy. We saw him struggle in qualifying, but like you said, it could have been set up if he had a low downforce setup or a setup suited for the dries indeed.
Yeah, I mean, even 19 lap hards, I think you kind of get into the limit of them now. I think you're not going to really. Oh, you see, slightly going off out the chicane. Yeah, you're not really going to be firing the lap timing screens on those used hards now. I think it's that crossover. You could do 15 laps on mediums. So I'm not sure what Hazard was going to get out of staying out another lap. Surely he's going to come in now.
I think it's time for him to pit now. You can see Overwatch is only about 9. Oh, I'm going to go to gap to leader because I'm not going to feel that out. 10.2 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting because Overwatch actually overtaken Harry Kane, and now he's a whole pissed up ahead. Is he now?
Yep, Harry's just come in now.
Yeah, Harry Kane was behind Overwatch before the pit stops, and that's the whole game. That's the whole time gained.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Martin needs to pit now, I think, for mediums, but I think he's going to hold out for the softs.
There are so many questions that need to be answered in this race. Yeah. What is the better tyre strategy? Is it hard to medium? Or is it a 1-stop or 2-stop? Plain and simple.
Oof, yeah. And then do you know what? We've only got 14 laps remaining and I still don't know.
Could Hazara do hards to softs, I wonder? We saw softs do 12 laps, didn't we? Or 13?
No, 14. Ramovaj did 14 laps, didn't he?
And I did see Ramovaj setting fastest laps after fastest laps as well. So he's on the 1-stop from soft to medium, which is unusual in any race.
It is. I mean, I know the game says you can do soft to mediums, but I don't think it's a competitive strategy. But Ramovaj might make us eat those words.
I've never seen it before. I've not seen it since like 2 games ago back in 2021, where people tried to do soft to mediums at any track. Like Britain was the one to do it. I remember Belgium as well, soft to medium. That strategy.
Sorry, mate.
It's alright. Hazara then has finally pitted, and let's see what he's going to go for. Is it going to be hards to mediums or hards to softs? We're about to find out as he makes his way towards the pit lane. 80 kilometres pit lane. Well. You know what? I'm surprised that Smithy do 20 laps of those mediums, but he's got to do hards towards the end, which is not really conventional tyres to go towards the end.
He's putting softs on there. I'll be surprised if he don't.
He's got to, really. That's his only choice, because hards towards the end against the guys on brand new sets of mediums as well, not ideal, but he's got to. If he can make these mediums go long.
He's put softs on. What a legend.
Now, Overwatch has taken the lead of this race. Ramovaj, who pitted, these two, by the way, the top 2 were the same strategy, but one of them set out later than the other and put the mediums on. I think Ramovaj's mediums could go towards the end, but I think Overwatch's tyres will be towards the end of the cliff.
Harry Kane down the inside of Rogue Smithy. Didn't quite make it. Rogue Smithy comes out ahead.
There's actually, do you know these pit stops actually split a lot of these drivers who were in a big DRS train before too. Harry Kane's still there, going into turn 4. Let's see if they make it stick. Harry Kane, do you know what? That was great side by side action, but I'm not quite sure if track limits was on the edge there for Rogue Smithy, whether he picked up a warning or not. But he tried to stay there, and that was great battling. Harry Kane, every time we see a battle from him, he always makes it out very nice and clean. He will be aggressive towards you, but he's always a clean driver from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, so we've got Lasers only 14 seconds behind the leader. MDJ is only 10 seconds behind the leader. And obviously Overwatch is going to have to pit again. Ramovaj is going to be slightly slower towards the end of his stint. Glock also going to be slower unless he goes on to the 2-stop. So I think Hazara, Laser and Rogue Smithy are in a really good position right now.
I agree with you there. The freshest tyres. Rose Smithy on a brand new set of socks. We could see making him towards the end. 12 laps to go on these set of soft compound tyres. Trust me, I've been on a set of softs towards the end of the Hungarian Grand Prix. It didn't go well because tyres actually faded away. But we've got a big battle between Ramovaj, Glock and Hazara. The former race leader, of course, of Hazara into P4 after staying out has been undercutted by those two. But he's on the freshest tyres out of the lot. His great, incredible pace is what helped him as well. So it should be the same this time around the second stint. Let's see. He's still behind Glock for the time being. Glock was one of the people in the DRS train. He was at the back of this DRS train, catapulted forward by making that early undercut and up into P3. But will it bite him back towards the end now? With Hazara on a fresh set of those medium compound tyres continuously put him in under pressure. Hazara got to look for the right opportunity to overtake.
Oh, Hazara on the inside. No, I thought we were going to go for it then.
Kimi Raikkonen back in 2016 or 18, I think. I can't remember now.
Oh my word. He's gunning for it. Inside line on the penultimate corner. He's now got the outside line for the last corner. Is he going to make this stick? He will do because he's got the easier line. And the better traction. He gets it done.
Wow.
Will he have DRS? Yes, he did. He got DRS as well, but also the Red Bull's got DRS. He's going to line up the Ferrari of Ramovaj on the inside line into turn 1, and he takes P2 from Ramovaj. Absolute amazing from Hazara there. That is driver of the day material right there.
2 cars in 2 corners, and Glock has got past Ramovaj too. He moves himself up into P3 ahead of Ramovaj. Those 2 tyre differences are not huge. It's only 1 lap for Glock and Ramovaj, so I expect these 2 to continue their fight, while I expect Hazara to pull away from these 2 and try and take on Overwatch. Overwatch, I don't know about his strategy. Can he make up the tyre difference towards the end of this race? We saw Hamilton do it, but that was obviously a full race. It's a half distance race, 50%, so you don't have a lot of time if you do a 2-shot strategy like this. You've got to make your pit stop now or stay out there.
Yeah, I kind of agree, mate. You either have to lock into it and just go with it, or pray for a safety car, but I've not seen many mistakes at all from these drivers, and they're racing very clean tonight, so I don't think we're going to see any safety cars, touch wood. I hope we don't actually, because I want to see how this pans out. But yeah, Hazara certainly in a great position now, and I think with 9 laps remaining, I think we are seeing the fact that the 2-stop of Overwatch is probably not the strongest setup. I think he's got that difficult decision now. Does he carry this on and really suffer, or does he come in the next couple of laps and put some fresh rubber on and try and come back? But just remember, there's a few drivers in the field now that are only 3, 4, 5 lap old tyres, and they're doing really well. So I think that might cement the fact that the 2-stop of Overwatch hasn't been successful. What do you think, Jamie?
I agree with you now. He's losing. If he stays out there like this, he's going to lose a lot of time. I think, because in 10 laps time, his tyres will be 22 laps old. Bearing in mind, Rogue Smithy's tyres were 19, 20 lap old when he made his pit stop. So the mediums were okay. And during this second stint of this race, he will fall off the cliff, be hunted down by the others. But if he pits now, like you said, it's 2 ways. It's just, if he pits now, lose loads of time. If he stays out, lose loads of time.
I think.
P9.
He's pitted now, I think.
P9, brand new set of softs. 10 laps to go. Can he do it? I think he's got to pit now. Hazara's right behind him. Surely got to pit.
But then again, it's Hungary. It's not a brilliant track for overtaking. Is he just going to play hardball?
It's Hazara.
Is he going to play hardball and just make his car as wide as a bus and just try and limit the amount of positions that he loses and still maybe claw back a P5? I don't know if that's the safer option rather than putting some softs on and actually going for it for 10 laps.
Oh, look at this. It's turn 1. MDJ versus Ramovaj. Ramovaj tried to stick it around the outside, but with MDJ on those better mediums, overtakes him. But, yeah, back to the point with trying to stick it out wide. If people are right behind him at the exit of the corners because of the better tyres, I think he's lost 1 place already towards Hazara. So he's got Glock right behind him too. Well, 4 seconds away. Once those guys catch up, MDJ's also putting pressure on Glock. Ooh, it's just a mixture.
Yeah, let's say he's a second a lap slower, yeah? There's 9 laps remaining, so that's only going to get worse as well. So already he's confirming that he's going to be P8. So wouldn't you just pick now and put the softs on and have done with it, rather than knowing that you're P8, rather than having fresh tyres and possibly clawing back a few positions, maybe back up to P4? I think it's a no-brainer. Cut your losses, pit now, and fight back.
I wonder as well, with the clouds gathering, is he expected rain? Because the rain's not always accurate on this game either. Some people, Jeff says it can come in 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I know Jeff or Mark always says rain ETA 10-15 minutes, but that's not always the case. It could come much later because it's not always accurate. It could
Yeah.
miss the circuit.
Yeah. Or it says light rain in 4 minutes. It's a bloody monsoon.
Yeah, that is true as well. So it was bright and sunny when it was started this race, but now it's cloudy.
Yeah.
So could the rain impact the circuit? I think some people on the soft compound tyres were anticipating an early safety car, but no safety cars that came out, so they've had to like go along with the flow and just try and figure out their own strategy without a safety car, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right there, mate. Definitely. I'm struggling now, mate. I think he's gone too heavy on those tyres straight away. Similar to how Overwatch did when he first put the mediums on, absolutely spanked them. And I thought with him going two stop, I thought it was going two stop, but he's sort of crossing that point of no return now. You know, he's kind of committing himself. And I think what Ramavad has done is something similar. You know, he thought about the one stop, but then the two stops coming to his head. And I just think that's what's really affecting Ramavad now.
Ramavaj did 14 laps of those soft compound tyres, but it looks like he's struggling on 11 lap hold. But obviously the guys behind him fresher tyres, of course, so it'll be easy pickings with the fuel burning off, the track rubbering in. It should make overtaking a bit easier as well, and also not overheat the tyres. But here comes MDJ on the back of Glock. These two had an incredible battle at the Spanish Grand Prix. Behind, we can see an AlphaTauri of Rogue Smithy putting pressure. Ramavaj sliding through the corners there, drifting. He didn't even get tagged by Rogue Smithy. He just drifted through himself. So re-locking the brakes into turn one. He's tried to go deep on the brakes, but he couldn't do it, unfortunately. And he's lost the place towards Rogue Smithy too.
Yeah, I was on board when that happened then. Ramavaj covered the inside and then sort of squeezed Smithy on the outside, but he left a car's width. And I thought that was a great defence, but over the outside line on those 6 lap old soft tyres, it was fruitless. Smithy came around on the outside and got the move done. Smithy making good headway now, eyeing up MDJ, and then slightly up from him is Glock and Overwatch. So he's actually got a really good podium on the line here, Smithy. So really good outing for Smithy.
Got to give credit too, because he's done one stop from mediums to softs, and I thought that wasn't going to work, but he took the mediums about 20, 21 laps, and that is just incredible alone on those set of tyres. Overwatch is in the pit lane.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's left it a bit too late, don't you?
I think he has, yeah. He should have done it 2 laps ago when we said, I think.
Because the later you leave it, obviously. Oh, look at this! Glock and MDJ side by side into one, and MDJ takes P2 at ease away from Glock. I thought MDJ Laser versus Ramavaj again, as Ramavaj unfortunately is losing places on those medium compound tyres. He's looking good on those softs earlier on, but on these mediums doesn't look the same way. Unfortunately, he's dropping back, and BTL Hurricane has actually lost a lot of time too. This DRS train from the Harvarders from P5 to P8, they separated quite a lot. That was the power of undercut too. What happened there?
So MDJ went really wide at top of the hill at turn 5, that one. He nearly lost it, and that's brought Glock a little bit closer. But that's also bringing Smithy into the mix now. So this is going to be a really good fight to the last lap. 7 lap old softs against 12 and 10 lap old mediums. I would argue that that's about the same in tyre life. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, just on the verge or thereabouts. So
yeah.
We'll have a look. Rogue Smithy is in a great position. He managed to make those mediums last. He wasn't exactly under pressure from the guys behind, such as MDJ, Laser Lord as well in P5. He actually held his own in P4 on those older mediums against better hards, and JDM picks up a 3-second penalty. You know what? I'm surprised a lot of drivers haven't picked up more penalties, because this track is brutal for track limits and penalties. So I'm actually surprised none of these guys have picked one up. I think Hazara can afford a few because he's got a nice second gap.
Yeah, Overwatch got one on that last lap. Coming out the pits, he must have crossed the line because he's got 3 seconds as well. But I think, do you know what I think it is? I think with this track, because the curbs are so horrendous, people stay away from them, and that's helping them not get penalties.
And we've got Hurricane versus Ramavaj. He moves himself up into P6, does the Norwegian driver. And I'm suspecting rain could be on the way as Overwatch has overtaken Samid. So Hurricane and Ramavaj and Overwatch, 13.3 is the gap between Ramavaj. That's a big gap to make up with 5 laps to go. So I think he's shot himself in the foot with a 2-stop there.
I think it could have worked if he'd have gone earlier on his stops. I just think he tried to ride it out too far. Looking down the order now. I mean, yeah, I think I'm going to have to eat my words here, Jamie. It looks like the one stop was the way forward.
Yeah, no safety cars being involved, it was always going to be a one-stop strategy with hards to mediums or even mediums to softs, as Rogue Smithy's made it work. Now, he's putting pressure on Glock ahead of him, so Glock there thinking about defending and attacking against someone on someone on fresher tyres, and he's on the oldest tyres out of the lot in P3, so let's see if Rogue Smithy can overtake Glock in Swan, because Glock has DRS at the back of MDJ, so it won't be an easy task for Rogue Smithy. He has to use those softs to get extra grip in those corners to try and edge himself forward towards Glock, so it won't be easy in the next 4 laps, and Overwatch sets the fastest lap of the race, as you expect, as we head down into turn 2. Rogue Smithy was very close indeed. I thought he might try and make a lunge, try and force out Glock to make a mistake. You can see Rogue Smithy had a bit of a twitchy moment coming out of turn number 2, but wasn't enough to affect him at all, as Overwatch has set the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, I imagine the tyres on Smithy are getting a little bit hot now. Virtual 4. Something in the pits, damage in the pits, is it? Don't know.
If someone's lost an end plate or front wing, I think that's the reason why a virtual. I think Shady M's caused that, because he's lost.
No. It's AlphaTauri in the pit. He's got no wing. I don't know where he did it, but he's in the pit now and getting a wing change of Hazara. Hazara's in the pit, mate. Oh, sorry, JDM. Sorry.
It's alright, mate. JDM then. The virtual safety car came in. Virtual safety car came out once he entered the pit lane. So I wonder if he just crashed in the pit lane and lost his wing.
We had it last night in Division 2 where a driver lost his wing in the pit and it brought out a full safety car. So yeah, it's very possible that it has brought out that virtual.
MDJ's doing well for himself as well in P2, because I remember about 20 laps ago he was on huge pressure by Laser Lord and Harry Kane, as he had no ERS to dispose of, but it looks like he sustained a threat and actually pulled away from those 2 McLaren drivers, which is very crucial for the championship, because ever since MDJ started to race more, he's actually eaten into Laser's Lord a lot in the last few races as well, and also doing the same thing. But the problem is Rogue Smithy and Glock are right behind him, and those two made contacts back at the Spanish Grand Prix too, but it's looking good for MDJ so far on P2 the championship, trying to eat in towards Laser Lord's lead. But Rogue Smithy fast on those soft compound tyres. Is he able to make a move at all anywhere on the track if he can?
I don't know, because it's not a great track for overtaking in sectors 2 and 3, so it'll come down to battery, and all 3 of these drivers are doing pretty well for battery, so I think he's got to wait for a mistake, really.
Yeah, that's the case with Rogue Smithy. You'll just try and drag him into turn 1. Try and get a decent exit out of the final corner if you can, but obviously Glock will be using his battery 2 in defense mode and attack mode against the MDJ and Rogue Smithy. So as we head round towards the final corner once again, and you can see there the SFR Doran is supporting Rogue Smithy. Rogue Smithy, by the way, hasn't had a great run of form really ever since I came, but it's nice to see him back up there, and now he's into a championship or a podium fighting place, but still too far back.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he can get anything done. I mean, he's going up to the inside. He's definitely weighing up an inside line, which is done now. Can he get the outside line up the hill? No, he had to back out of it.
And you can see him using his battery as well, and he tries to attack Glock once again, but nothing doing on there, so he looked like he was close, but Glock there.
Wow. So this is what I think he's doing. He's trying to put a bit of pressure on Glock to make a mistake, which it seems to be working, to be honest with you. As Smithy goes a little bit deep into the chicane there.
Yeah, Rogue Smithy also trying desperately to fight Glock but making mistakes of his own, so not also forcing Glock to a mistake but himself as well, so be very careful. He had a chance though, but Glock had the racing line, had it covered, but when we went up the hill at turn 4, I was on board with Rogue Smithy, and I thought Glock was going to go off the track. The amount of speed he carried into turn 4 was unbelievable.
Yeah, and you've got to remember as well, these tyres are the medium runners, they're not going to be that great themselves. I mean, I'd still argue they're on the cusp of being sort of equal here, which is pretty much what we're seeing with the delta between them. Steyr gets a 3-second time penalty. But yeah, Smithy a little bit further back now. Just didn't get a great exit of the last corner. Needs to make this work as quickly as possible. Yeah, he's nowhere near as close as he was on the last lap. I think Rogue Smithy, that might be his fighting chance to gain a podium. gone unless he can do a miraculous smashing 2 laps.
Yeah, he has to now. He needs to find a way to have a decent exit at the final corner. Guess who's also joined in this battle? Harry Kane and Laser. Those two have been together ever since the start of the race. Laser Lord and Harry Kane. But Laser's had an advantage on his teammate too, has Harry Kane. But Rogue Smithy then can't find a way past at all. Hazara has been one of his own ever since Overwatch was on the soft compound tyres in the early stage of the race. He's dominated and he's done a fantastic job so far in P1. Never looked back and only had to overtake one car, which was Overwatch, who did the 2-stop anyway. Overwatch is 1.9 behind Ramavage, so it's actually quite closed in a lot, but he's run out of time though in that Alpha May with only 2 laps to go. Like it's been said, I think 2 or 3 laps earlier, should have pitted to go on the soft compound tyres, but left it a bit too late. Probably hoping for an early safety car, as most will do on those soft compound tyres. So here we go, on the final lap of this race. It looks like Rogue Smith is actually close towards on the back of the Glock. Glock's still got the DRS on the back of MDJ, but can Rogue Smith force the launch into turn 1? No, he's too far back. He needs to set himself up out nicely at turn 1 to try and get himself into a good place into turn number 2, but he can't do it. He's using the ERS now, but he's too far behind, and once again he can't make the move into turn number 2. So I think that's it, unless Glock makes a mistake out of these corners. So Glock will maintain the podium so far unless he makes a mistake with Rogue Smithy all over the back of him.
They're coming up to a back marker now as well of Oreo Glass, I think.
Yeah, they are. The hash driver of Oreo Glass tried to stay out there. That's Sonic Hawk actually, P14.
Couldn't
Yeah.
quite see. Yeah.
Yeah, Sonic Hawk, despite the first lap, he was at the back of the field majority of this race, so I want to say mad props for him to staying in this race. Sonic Hawk and Oyo Glass just struggled out there here in Hungary, but still doing a really good job in P14 and P15. And we'll see. Hazara, this man has been incredible throughout the whole race, making his way out of the final corner. Here he comes then to win the Hungarian Grand Prix. The Norwegian driver has shown some incredible pace as well. Great strategy calls, definitely deserves the win. And MDJ as well, finishing in P2, being under pressure majority of the race by both McLarens. Glock on the podium ahead of Rogue Smithy. He couldn't get it, it was 2 tenths away as both McLarens 5th and 6th. Ramavage actually defended from Overwatch despite being in the DRS in the last 2 laps. So Overwatch there, just couldn't get him. Samid will finish in P9 ahead of Martin, but I don't think so because he's got a 3-second time penalty hovering over his shoulders. So Samid's run out of fuel. You can see him cruising towards the line.
Oh, no way.
I'm actually surprised, you know, more drivers haven't run out of fuel because we've had no safety calls other than 2 virtuals.
Yeah, true.
But what an incredible race there from all these drivers. We've seen a lot of different strategies. The one stop was the way to go, but Rogue Smithy, 20 lap all mediums. It's just incredible how he managed to make that stint work as well. 20 lap all mediums, not being under pressure from the hards. If you can make the mediums last as well, that'll benefit you. And I'm surprised, well, yeah, I'm surprised he made it work to put from mediums to softs. And the soft compound tyres looked like they were in great shape as well towards the end.
Yeah, they were. And you got to remember that double overtake that Hazara pulled off into turn 1. Absolutely monumental. Or was it Smithy? No, it was Hazara, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Hazara.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
We'll get the drivers in the podium interview. He's doing the Div 1 chat anyways, hopefully, so we'll get them all in. I don't think Glock has a mic because I tried to invite him to a party when I was a teammate and he said he didn't have a mic, so I think MDJ and Hazara will be on the podium interviews.
Yeah, I've put a message in the chat now.
MDJ knows where the party is because he was speaking to me before the race, so he was here.
I think we're going to get Rogue Smithy in as well.
Yeah, might as well invite Rogue Smithy, even though he's not on the podium, but still. If Glock has a mic or not, I'm not quite sure.
Well, that certainly gave us the race we were after there, wasn't it?
Yeah, no safety cars. We can finally determine which strategy was better.
Yeah, I think it was a one-stop.
Here's Rogue Smithy. And we're just waiting for 2 more of Hazara and MDJ. Then the podiums can get kicking off. In fact, we'll start with Rogue Smithy because he finished in P4 and the other 2 aren't here anyway. Just yet. Here comes MDJ. But Rogue Smithy, mate, congratulations. It's not a podium, but P4 is still a great result for you. This has been one of your better races of the season. I think Do you know what? Those medium compound tyres, I didn't think you'd make them last that long. I thought around lap 14 you'd be pitting, then on the hard compound tyres being under pressure from the guys in the mediums. But you surprised me. You went from mediums to soft. So your tyre management has been really great as well. How was it due to, how did you make the tyres last overall?
To be honest, I just didn't push them in the first stint. Waited for Ramavage to absolutely blitz through his tyre on his softs. And then I realised, okay, I might as well just save the tyres, save the fuel, don't push. And yeah, I just kept in his DRS, and then I overtook him eventually when his soft died. So I decided to keep him in my DRS to keep MTJ behind because he was on the hard. He was much quicker. He probably would have had me if I didn't keep him there. And then when Ramavage pit, I just pushed as much as I could.
Yeah, we saw you pushing there, mate, and you were
Yeah,
certainly put some pressure on, weren't you? And it looked on the first 2 or 3 laps, it looked like you were going to do it, but I think because the medium tyres guys were relatively fresh, I think it might have negated the advantage you had. But it was great racing from you, Smithy.
I had
I'll take my hat off to you, mate. It was the best I've seen you race in a long time, mate.
I had the big advantage over the others at the first start of it. I was within 2 seconds. I was up within 2 laps. I was within a second of Laser, and I'd already pulled out a second of Harry Kane. Then I was just pushing as hard as I could to get back to the podium positions, and I saw was it who was it that qualified second?
Overwatch?
Gelf Overwatch. Yeah, I saw him pit, and I was like, P2's on here, and it didn't eventually come through. But yeah, P4. I'm really happy with that. At least I got to finish at least once, so that's something.
Could you have done anything different in your tag against Glock? Because we saw you tantalizingly
Yeah,
close 3 times against Glock in P3. So,
I
do you
think
think you could have done it differently?
yeah, I could have sent. I could have committed a bit more in one of the overtakes, but there was one where he got a poor exit because he deployed the DRS too early out of turn one. He was sliding all over the place. I ended up getting a decent drive, dived down the inside, and he just cut me off. Which, yeah, I mean, it was not a move on for me, but yeah, he did cut me off a little bit, but I probably should have committed a bit more there to to put my nose in, make sure that he knew I was there. But yeah, I think I'm happy with P4. So could have been more, but it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, P4 is a great haul of points as well. So that was a great drive from you. 20 laps on those mediums, and that was a great strategy play as well to keep
Yeah,
Ramavage in your DRS to keep those hard runners behind.
yeah, I think MDG did that for him to keep me behind as well. I think it was 21 laps really, on the mediums.
Oh,
Pit
21.
lap
That's incredible.
22, I think, a lap up hit.
I
I
think it
think.
was lap 21. You did 21 laps on the mediums, and lap 22 was when you pit, I think.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you can probably ask MDJ about his defending on me and Glock as well. That was brilliant from him.
Yeah, congrats on P4. How are you feeling for the Belgian Grand Prix?
Oh God, hate the track. It's too bumpy. Just a horrible, horrible track. I think I'll just be happy to finish and hopefully get in the top 10. But I don't expect a podium or a top 5 like this week.
Also, in the qualifying session, it was raining as well, so I think that rain helps because you put on the soft compound tyres towards the end, which you had a spare set of softs.
Yeah, I've always been good in the rain as well, so I knew I was going to get a good position in quali. Rain I've always been really, really quick in. Hazara would know that, and Glock would know that as well. From my first win a couple of seasons ago, it was a full wet Grand Prix, and we were all three of us were racing for the win, and that was really fun. I've always been good in the rain, so I kind of expected a top 5, but I could have been top 3, but I was really happy with P5.
Well done
Yeah.
to you, mate. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Moving on to P2, as Glock is not here, but if you are listening, Glock, which you were, congrats on P3. What a great drive and great defense against Rogue Smith's key P3. A bit hairy moments from you, but still kept him at bay, which was very important towards the end. Moving on to P2, which is MDJ. So, Mikey de Jong, in the first stint, mate, looks like you were struggling on those hard compound tyres because you used a lot of EOS in that stage. So, did you use the EOS to try and catch up towards the others, or in defense mode against the others behind?
Um, Actually, I used all of the ERS at the beginning to overtake some of the guys at the start. so it wouldn't bite my butt later on in the race. So it was totally worth using all of it. And of course, since it's Hungary and with how high downforce, it's very hard to regain it all. So all the like the whole full first stint, I didn't have any ERS until I got the DRS of one of the Ferraris, which was very slow on the soft compound tire. Um, so I was kind of surprised. I was trying to fight it very hard. But then after pit stop, I tried to catch Glock, get out of him, and go for P3. But I didn't realize that P2 was gonna pit. So I wouldn't know that we were fighting for P2. And then I also saw that Smitty went to the pits for softs. I thought personally that his tires were gonna die just as soon as the Ferrari that passed on the first end, but that was not true. So I tried to keep Glock inside my DRS, so I would be safe from Smitty at the end. But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun race.
Yeah, I think Smithy did it the right way around. I think that he did mediums first and then the softs, and I think Overwatch who did the softs first. I think that was the wrong move. We did say, me and Jamie said it, in qualifying, even the start of the race, that the softs aren't great on full fuel. Anyone starting on softs is probably at a bit of a disadvantage, which seemed to be the case. But Hazara starting on the hards, which also surprised me. Everyone that started on the hards, it made the one-stop work. Like yourself, it really surprised me. But yeah, the soft definitely not great. So yeah, we weren't surprised when Smithy was able to keep up with you guys, because when you both came out various times, I think he has 7 lap-hold softs and you guys had 10 and 11 lap-hold mediums, and we were saying that's pretty much the same. And I think that was evident on your last few laps racing together. But after my long question, the question is, would you have done anything different if you did that race again?
No. Maybe I would have stayed a bit longer, tried to overtake Smitty in the first stint, and go to the softs at some point. Maybe I could have secured P2 by miles, but maybe I would have lost P2 by miles because I cannot get past people very quickly. So I don't know. Personally, I would have stayed like this.
Okay, cool.
I think that Laser Lord and Hurricane stay behind you way too long, because somewhere in that lap you actually pulled a second over him, and once you finally broke free of that DRS, you pulled away on pure pace. You actually pulled away from Laser despite being on low on DRS, because that's what helped him keep towards you in that DRS range. So your pace in general was actually incredible to keep those guys behind. So yeah, that's the one to keep out for, because I thought you'd be exposed to the guys behind like Glock, Hurricane and Laser Lord, but actually you kept them all at bay and finished in P2. So how are you feeling for the Belgian Grand Prix?
Ooh, it's Belgium next. Well, it's gonna be a lot of DRS play happening in Belgium. A lot of people trying to wait, let the other guy overtake, especially around the last lap. So, but if there are no safety cars, it can be a fun race.
Cheers, mate. And also, were you expecting any safety cars around here tonight in Belgium? Hungary?
I was expecting at least one, but a virtual safety car is fine too.
When you saw the yellow flags, how nervous do you get?
Well, with that VSC at the end, with Glock and Smitty behind, I waited a bit too long where Glock got in my 410, so he could have definitely overtaken me at the end of the straight, but he just waited it out, and I kind of appreciated it.
Mate, thank you for that. And what a wonderful race. You also close in on Laser Lord of Bots again in this races too. So, more you keep eating into these, more you're having good races, the more you close in on Laser Lord's Championship as well. So it's definitely looking good for you to keep this pace.
Yes, definitely.
We move on to the race leader. Well, Hazara, mate, I don't know what to say because your pace from the get-go was incredible. Obviously, he couldn't keep up with the soft weather because he was on a set of softs while you were on the hards, but you knew his tyres would probably die out towards the end, or towards the first stint immediately. Then you had the advantage there, and yeah, you just drove a beautiful race from there on in.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was plain sailing today, luckily. So a bit boring at times, but yeah, rather boring than exciting and bad. So I'm very happy with the pace and the race.
Were you ever a bit nervous about Overwatch because you pitted earlier to the brand new set of mediums? So on a two-stop strategy, you have to be rapid, like we said. You have to keep going flatter every single lap. But were you ever nervous about Overwatch at the end, or any
Um,
stage of the race? Sorry.
I wasn't really sure what tires he went to. I think he pitted lap 12, and I assumed he would go to the hards and try to go to the end. But I was really surprised later in the race when I saw his that he was on mediums. So he had to two-stop, and I just don't think that strategy works. You have to have like ridiculous pace to make it happen. So yeah, probably not the best strategy, but he had the pace I think to get a podium today if he would have had a more traditional strategy like mine or a medium hard or something. But no, I wasn't really worried, no, because I knew in the first stint, I knew that his tires were gonna die and I was gonna catch and pass. Um, and yeah, and then even if he would have gone to hards, he would have, I mean, his pace would have been better than mine initially, but then when I pit for new mediums, the delta is very big, so I don't think he would have got me either way. No.
How was you had mighty pace around it? Did you practice a lot? Did you get the setup right as well? And also in the rain, you were phenomenal too. So qualifying and the race, you looked set from the get-go, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it last week, but I had a couple of other races here.
It was you.
In yeah,
I thought it was
in
Harry
the
Kane.
Norwegian. Yeah, both of us. We drive in the same Norwegian league. I drive in the first tier. He drives in the second because the first tier is without assist restrictions, and
Oh,
yeah, but yeah. So I practiced some for that, and yeah, I was feeling comfortable, could keep up with like top guys, and yeah, obviously it helps when you're prepared for once.
yeah, that's fantastic from you today. And also that overtake on the last corner and into turn one. You didn't wait for the DRS on the first overtake, but yeah, that was very important for you to get it done because you would have lost a lot of time if you stay behind those two, squabbling over that lead of the race.
Yeah, you're talking about Glock and Ramavaj, I
Yeah,
think.
I couldn't remember who it was, so I didn't want to say any names.
Yeah, I get it's okay. Yeah, but it was kind of poor for me because I've driven like three races here now and I still don't know the pit loss. So yeah, I have to do better on that because I could have easily pitted one lap earlier and I would have been clear and then I could have gone for the fastest lap. But yeah, it was kind of poor. But I wasn't worried. I I knew I could pass them, but obviously I couldn't go for the fastest lap because my tires were not amazing after I had passed them, or not good enough to take the fastest lap.
I love it, H. Even though you won the race and dominated, you still got some criticism for yourself there.
Yeah, I mean you can always do better, but I'm very happy in general.
Good man. Hazara, you seem to have got some form of the recent past few races. So, With around 9 or 10 laps remaining in this season, do you think you can jump up this table and fight some of these guys that are on 100 points, 150 points?
I haven't really inspected the table, but I think maybe I can, I don't know, top 3, top 5,
Yeah, so from that
maybe.
you'll be on 114 points after today. Obviously, other people will score a few points, but I think that'll catapult you up a few places, especially seeing as Mackie, Oliver, and JDM didn't have great races today. So that should put you in P4, I believe. Only about you'll be about 30 behind Harry Kane in P3. So not a massive bridge to gap or a massive gap to bridge. So with 10 races to go, do you think that's something you can claw back? 30-point deficit to P3?
Yeah, if I can drive all the races, I think it should be possible. And also, I'm more comfortable on the next tracks because we just had, or not just had, but we had like Spa, Zandvoort, and Monza. We had recently. Same with Singapore, Japan, all those tracks. So I think I'll be better prepared for those, kinda. So yeah, I'm excited.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. I look forward to seeing you fight your way up, mate.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Congrats, Hazara. Brilliant driving today, mate. It wasn't under pressure at all. Picked up no penalties, unlike in the British GP last week. But yeah, 100% credit to you today. Well done, mate.
Thanks.
And that's the Hungarian Grand Prix done and dusted then. So me and Dan will be back for the Belgian Grand Prix. And once again, Dan, it's been brilliant to commentate with you again.
Pleasure as always, mate. Pleasure as always.
Yeah, and enjoy the Qatar Grand Prix this weekend in Formula One, and we'll be back next week at 7:30 on Tuesday for Spa-Francorchamps, the Belgian Grand Prix.